Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Next at noon, Chicago's mayor is responding to the president's threat to cut federal funding to sanctuary cities like Chicago.
The Supreme Court is reopening a case that started here in Illinois that could impact the mail-in ballot process.
Taking a live look outside, it's looking quiet now. Look at that. But that blanket of snow took everyone by surprise this morning, except for probably Caitlin. But it was definitely here. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Sylvia Perez.
And I'm Natalie Bobke, and it's safe to say the snow was an unwelcome addition to the commute for so many people out there.
Yeah, so Roseanne put on her winter gear and talked to some travelers making their way to work.
Dropping temperatures, falling snow, and howling winds. Our meteorologists call it an overachieving storm this morning, a little more than we expected. We talked to commuters about the slippery commute to work today.
I would say definitely whipping winds. You need to make sure you're careful with your face because that wind is swirling around and will hit you at different points and feel like blizzard conditions at moments.
John, good morning. How was your commute?
It was great. You know, it's pretty nice out. It's bear weather, as we like to call it. But I took the train into the office this morning. I actually think it's quite warm out. The snow isn't sticking to the ground, so I really can't complain.
Tell me what you've been seeing this morning, Gwen.
Yeah, snow is blowing sideways. It's kind of rough walking around down here, but there's salt downtown, and honestly, like, the CTA is always pretty reliable, but traffic, like, for the cars, it's rough. It's really slow going out there.
On the plus side, this should clear up before your commute home today. Another blast of winter, but it is January in Chicago. Roseanne Tejas, Fox Chicago.
Now, Roseanne's report just focusing near the downtown Chicago area right now as we take a live look outside. It is definitely quieter here than it was earlier, but it is a different story in Northwest Indiana.
Caitlin is standing by, and she's got a look at what people there can expect.
Winter weather advisory now expanded into Lake County because we have this lake effect band of snow that has developed right along I-65, I expect, and I-94. Treacherous travel at this hour. We still have some light scattered snow throughout Chicagoland, so let's take a closer look. Dive deep into the radar here, where you can see the dark blue shade from Gary stretching down to Merrillville. As mentioned, I-65 north-south. This is going to be a mess right now. The rest of us getting in on some light snowfall. So as we really take a look at where the snow is coming down, scattered snow from Lake County all the way out to DeKalb. Chicago not picking up much. You might see a snowflake here or there, but Northwest Indiana is really where we're focusing our attention, not only because of this lake effect band that's set up in Lake County, but as we head into the afternoon, that potential for snow is going to continue, especially from Porter County points east. As far as snow accumulation goes, we could see around 4 inches of snowfall, up to 4 inches in Lake County, Porter County closer to 5 inches of snow. And as we round the lake from LaPorte to Berrien County, where we have that storm warning in effect, I do expect that we could see around 6 to 12 inches of snowfall as we head into your Thursday. So in the meantime, right now, the radar loop is showing where we do have that snow continuing to fall, especially in Lake County, but now almost Porter County, Lake County border to Valpo, just about. We have that snowfall coming down. So take it easy. If you are going to be hitting the roads, I encourage you to wait if you are in Northwest Indiana, right along I-65 for the next hour or two. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Caitlin. Well, there has been a settlement in a civil suit against Boeing that was filed here in Chicago.
Opening statements were supposed to start this morning, but Clifford law offices say the family and Boeing reached a settlement. The case was over the crash of a Boeing 737 MAX 8 on takeoff in Ethiopia in 2019. The family was looking to hold Boeing liable. The terms of the settlement was not released. Meantime, federal agents and protesters continue to clash outside of a federal facility near Minneapolis over last week's federal shooting by an ICE agent.
This is coming as the Trump administration is doubling down on its immigration enforcement operation. Caroline Elliott has more.
1 week after an ICE agent fatally shot 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, the DOJ is now coming out and saying there is no basis for a criminal civil rights investigation. Tensions remain high across Minneapolis as federal agents continue arrests. Crowds gather each day at a facility being used as a detention center, calling for justice in the killing of Renee Nicole Good. Mayor Jacob Fry says the Trump administration jumped to conclusions when it argued the ICE officer acted in self-defense.
I do not support abolishing ICE. However, I absolutely oppose the way that this administration is conducting themselves with us.
As calls grow for an independent investigation, a Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the DOJ is not considering Good's death a civil rights case. And Fox News has learned several federal prosecutors in Minnesota have resigned, citing concerns over the direction of the investigation.
They did everything that they could to continue to do the right thing for the people of this state and for our country.
The Trump administration, though, says it is not backing off its enforcement effort. And come next month, sanctuary cities and states that don't cooperate will be cut off from federal funds.
They do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens.
We are willing to work with people when it's about murder and when it's about crime. But the truth is that this ain't about that.
Sources tell Fox News the Trump administration is sending additional federal prosecutors to the Twin Cities to help charge immigration cases. Just outside Minneapolis, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is going after President Trump and his office for his threats to withhold funding from sanctuary cities.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
The president made the comments yesterday. Mayor Johnson says the move is blatantly unconstitutional and immoral. The mayor says in part Chicagoans pay billions in federal taxes, and it is far past time that we receive our just due from the federal government. In the meantime, the U.S. State Department is pausing all visa processing for 75 countries as part of its immigration crackdown. Included in that list of countries is Somalia, Russia, Brazil, Iran, and Egypt. The new memo instructs consular offices around the globe to more aggressively enforce the public charge provision of U.S. immigration law. That law permits denial of visas to applicants that rely on public benefits. Officers will weigh factors such as health, age, English proficiency, and finances. The pause goes into effect on January 21st and will continue until the department reassesses the program.
The Supreme Court is reviving a case filed by a downstate Republican lawmaker surrounding mail-in ballots. Congressman Mike Bost sued the Illinois State Board of Elections over the practice of counting mail-in ballots up to 2 weeks after Election Day. Bost argued the extended counting cost him campaign money and could have cost him an election. An appeals court ruled against him, but this morning the nation's high court ruled 7-2 that Bost has the legal right to challenge the law. The Supreme Court will consider the broader issue on late arrival mail-in ballots in the spring. We've got some sad news in the Chicago culinary world. The Timeout Group just announced that Timeout Market will be closing later this month. Timeout Market opened in Fulton Market in 2019 as a food hall that hosted dozens of vendors and live events. The CEO of Timeout Market says the decision came amid financial challenges stemming from a rise in hybrid work patterns and increased operation costs. The facility will officially close its doors next Friday, January 23rd.
Governor Pritzker is weighing in on the Bears Stadium conversation. He spoke yesterday with reporters and says that while he is willing to help the team stay here in Illinois, taxpayers will not be footing the bill.
We're not going to build a stadium for the Chicago Bears. But again, they're a private business. We have offered to do a number of things, still talking, as we always do with the Bears, about how best to meet their needs. But I want what's best for the taxpayers in the end, and we're going to make sure that we do the best that we can for the Bears, but most of all, that we're not wasting taxpayer money.
Bears executives sent a survey to season ticket holders asking them how they would feel about a new stadium in Indiana and what they'd be willing to pay for seats at a new dome. They also sent a similar survey last year about potential stadium in Arlington Heights. Well, the Bears will look to keep their playoff run alive when they host the Rams on Sunday.
Slowing down the Rams' offense will be a challenge. Bears coaches game planning a way to beat the NFL's best offense. Rams QB Matthew Stafford led the NFL throwing for over 4,700 yards and 46 touchdowns. He is a front runner for the league's MVP award. He also teamed up with one of the game's most respected coaches, Sean McVay, and McVay talked about what he has seen in the Bears.
I think there's a belief that they've established, and I think when you have those types of successful outcomes, no different than Matthew the other day, I think he had full expectation to lead us down the field. I feel that when I watch Caleb and I watch that team. There's a belief that they can find ways to finish, and that's why they're in this situation. But he's going to be a nightmare to defend, and we're excited about diving into this prep because here we freaking go, man.
Make sure you tune in for Bears Game Day Live on Sunday starting at 12:30 p.m. We'll have the latest on injuries. Hopefully there will not be any headlines and other important factors of the game. And right after the game ends, tune in for our post-game coverage as well.
In the meantime, more to come here on Fox 32 News at noon. The president is preparing for his meeting with Venezuela's Nobel Prize-winning opposition leader to discuss the future of the country's people and the economy.
Plus, they were gone for nearly 4 years, but now BTS is launching their comeback with a big tour. We'll have those details just ahead.
$10 million.
The State Department says multiple Americans have been freed from Venezuelan custody.
This move comes ahead of the president's meeting with Venezuela's opposition leader. Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
The new Venezuelan government is continuing to release political prisoners. And on Tuesday, the State Department said multiple Americans are among those being freed. At least 5 Americans have reportedly been released so far. But some opposition activists say the political situation hasn't changed significantly.
Given the circumstances in Venezuela right now, everybody is in some level, if they are against the Maduro regime, they are in some level at risk. But we are hopeful.
The move is a possible olive branch ahead of President Trump's meeting on Thursday with Nobel Prize-winning opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. And it comes as the president has been consolidating America's control over the country, even sharing a doctored Wikipedia page calling himself acting president of Venezuela.
We're going to be great for Venezuela, great for our country.
The first priority, getting control of Venezuela's oil.
The U.S. now ensuring that this, the blockade, the embargo, is going to work, the quarantine, and the United States is in charge of the sale and disposition of this Venezuelan oil.
But the situation remains volatile, with pro-Maduro protests still taking place on almost a daily basis, and his family members stepping into the spotlight.
My father has been the president of the republic, but he did not want to be president. The people elected him 3 times.
The Venezuelan government says it plans to release a total of about 400 political prisoners. The opposition says that's not nearly enough. In Washington, Rebecca Kauster, Fox News.
The leaders of Denmark and Greenland are once again pushing back against President Trump's calls for the U.S. to take over Greenland.
The two prime ministers are stressing the Arctic island is part of Denmark and protected by NATO. They are warning any forced takeover would fracture the transatlantic alliance. The show of unity comes ahead of high-stakes talks at the White House this week. And President Trump responded to a heckler at a Ford plant in Michigan with a middle finger. TMZ shared video of the incident. The White House communications director didn't confirm whether Trump gave the finger, but said it was a, quote, appropriate, unambiguous response. Fox News is reporting that Ford worker has since been suspended.
House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says the committee will move to hold both former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress. The move comes after the Clintons did not show up to speak before the committee about their relationship with disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Comer says the committee negotiated for months with the Clintons' attorneys to find a date for them to show up for their subpoenas. Meantime, in a letter to Comer, their lawyers described the subpoena attempt as, quote, invalid and legally unenforceable.
Let's take a live look outside. Overcast skies, see the remnants of the snow. The question is, will more be coming our way? What do you think?
Well, on the radar, we still have a few sprinkles of blue, showing that we could have a few snowflakes around. But the bulk of the snow right now is actually in northwest Indiana in the form of lake effect. You can see this band of lake effect snow moving through mostly Porter County now in northern Lake County. But again, radar is picking up on some scattered blue across the area. So it's not out of the question that you see some light snow. But the majority of the additional accumulation that is expected through today and even into tomorrow is going to be focused in northwest Indiana. Shortly here, moving into Porter County, as mentioned, and then LaPorte and Berrien County. But I want to talk about the temperatures, too, because along with the snow, we have had big changes. Gusty winds have brought in cold temperatures. Right now, we're sitting at 22 degrees from the lakefront to Midway, 21 at O'Hare. It's only 19 degrees in Waukegan and 25 in Gary, as well as in Kankakee. So chilly temperatures and very gusty still. We have that wind coming in out of the north at 46 miles per hour as a gust at Midway right now, 48 miles per hour in Gary. O'Hare, 33 miles per hour. So these gusty winds are continuing into this early afternoon. And also an update with our winter storm alerts. We have a winter weather advisory now in place for Lake County 2, where we could see 3 to 4 inches of total accumulation as we head into Porter County, also in purple, indicating there is an advisory there. We could see around 5 inches. And in the pink, this is our winter storm warning from LaPorte to Berrien County, where 6 to 12 inches of snow is possible all the way into your Thursday. Day planner, temperatures for the rest of the day will be in the 20s, so we're staying cold. The clouds are staying in place too. What about the rest of your week? The Bears forecast. A full check of your 7-day outlook is coming up.
Caitlin, thank you. We've got some sad news out of the music world to report. Grammy-nominated musician John Forte has died.
Police say Forte was found dead Monday in his Massachusetts home, adding there were no signs of foul play. In his early 20s, he was known for his work on the Grammy-winning The Score with the Fugees and on Wycliffe Jean's Grammy-nominated The Carnival. Forte is survived by his wife and 2 children. He was 50 years old.
Director and Emmy Award-winning actor Timothy Busfield has turned himself into police to face child sex abuse charges in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They stem from allegations that he inappropriately touched a minor on the set of a show that he was directing. A warrant had been out for his arrest since Friday. Busfield is best known for appearing in The West Wing and Field of Dreams. And actor Kiefer Sutherland was arrested in Hollywood for allegedly threatening and getting into a physical altercation with a rideshare driver. Officers say the rideshare driver did not sustain any injuries that required medical attention. Sutherland was released on $50,000 bond.
K-pop supergroup BTS is announcing a new world tour. The year-long tour will include more than 70 dates across Asia, North America, South America, Australia, and Europe. Beginning in April, they're going to be taking the stage here in Chicago with 2 nights at Soldier Field, August 27th and 28th. The news is coming following a nearly 4-year hiatus as all 7 members had to complete, that is, the South Korea's mandatory military service. So a lot of fans have been waiting for this for a long time. Tickets go on sale January 24th.
I don't think I ever realized there were 7 members of that group.
Yeah, it's, you know, I know a lot about this group because of all people, my sister is like fixated on them. I know way too much about BTS.
Well, I'd love to hear about it, Sylvia.
I'll fill you in. You're gonna have to go. Okay, the University of Illinois is making a big addition to Memorial Stadium. It plans to install a new massive video board. It's going to be more than 17,300 square feet, making it the biggest video board in all of college football. The project is expected to be finished by the beginning of next season. Fun.
Well, it is super fun and exciting. And we're in the future, folks. For some, online shopping can be therapeutic or convenient, but a new study says that for many, it can actually be stress-inducing.
And speaking of stress-inducing, we spoke to a psychologist about the cardiac bears and the stress that they've been bringing fans with those fourth-quarter wins. That's coming up.
House Representative Robin Kelly, who represents parts of Chicago in the south suburbs, just moved to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem moments ago. Kelly, who is also running for the open Illinois Senate seat, produced by Dick Durbin, introduced articles of impeachment against Noem with the support of nearly 70 members of Congress.
And those articles are obstruction of Congress, violation of public trust, and self-dealing. It follows the shooting of Renee Good in Minneapolis by an ICE agent. It is unlikely that any articles of impeachment will pass in the House, with Republicans holding a narrow majority. More people are surviving cancer. That's according to new data released from the American Cancer Society. It shows 70% of people are now living at least 5 years after a cancer diagnosis. That is the highest rate ever recorded. The report also finds major survival gains for some of the deadliest cancers, including lung, liver, and multiple myeloma.
Increasing health care costs are causing fewer people to sign up for the Affordable Care Act. Data from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services showed about 800,000 fewer people signed up this year compared to January of 2025. And that's a decline of about 3.5%. The drop includes fewer signups and renewals across the board. And the decline follows the expiration of those tax credits, which experts say could double monthly premiums for millions of families.
A new study published by the Journal of Medical Internet Research finds internet shopping produces higher levels of stress compared to reading the news, emails, or watching porn online. Researchers studied the internet habits of nearly 1,500 German people over 7 months and concluded time spent online shopping was, in fact, associated with increased stress.
I don't understand this because no one is forcing you to shop online. I don't understand.
Does it stress you out?
No, I think it's so convenient, and I
agree.
I will do that.
I get stressed is if there's a number ticking, like if you're buying concert tickets and it's giving you a countdown, like you only have 5 minutes to do this, and then I panic.
Yes. No. All right.
Funny comparison to the other things.
Yeah, that was a little, okay.
Yeah, we're going to move on because speaking of stress, the Cardiac Bears have made a dramatic finish, as we all know, as part of their brand at each game. And their next game against the Rams is the most important yet.
But you don't have to die over being a diehard fan. We spoke to Dr. Julia Garcia, psychologist and author on Good Day Chicago, about ways to control your fanxiety.
You know, our brains don't really know the difference between what is real and what's not. It only knows that we care. So if you are a diehard fan, your brain's like, you care, this is going to be an intense experience. So that's actually a good thing in the ways that we just know right off the bat. This actually means we care, that we're feeling all the feelings. And that's really the powerful thing about being a fan is you have all these intense feelings that if you, what I call repurpose them, you can use them not for like this conflict, but for connection. And we can think about the communities that we get to be a part of, that sense of belonging, that passion we get to express by being a part of these communities that really care about these teams.
Yeah, okay, so there's kind of a positive side to the connection here. I want to ask you, though, in terms of like fan anxiety, is it harmful or is this just, you know, another way of saying sports are fun and exciting to watch and you know, the drama is why we all tune in?
I mean, anything can be harmful when it's not managed, right? So really, I talk about hope in applying it to every situation, especially with anxiety and having hope. It helps us have emotional regulation because sometimes what happens is when we have and experience these intense feelings, we don't always know how to manage them and regulate them. And that's how it can maybe turn towards more of danger zone, the hijack kind of some of our ability to maintain our ability to be present, to have that fun. So we just want to make sure that we're able to feel feelings in a way that doesn't hijack our experience. So we can actually even think about what is the outcome we want from watching this game, no matter what the outcome of the game is. Do we want to have a good time? And when we preset those values, it helps us when we kind of start to steer out of maybe our emotional regulation to remind ourselves why we're really here. Because we really wanted to take our brother to the game to bond. Right? So it's kind of realigning with those value sets so that it doesn't steer towards the place of being a danger zone.
That's why I kind of tune out until it gets closer to the end because it causes me so much stress.
Yes, I understand
but it's been fun. There's no doubt about it. And the countdown is on. We are heading down to Kansas City where they're preparing hundreds of thousands of fans at this year's World Cup.
Plus, prepare to witness Olympic history. We're going to tell you when you can start plotting to get those LA Olympic game tickets on the other side of the break.
Welcome back as we take a live look outside. We were talking about that heavy snow that came down, and you were saying, Natalie, that you got in before it started, but I woke up this morning, it was coming down fast and furious. Caitlin, you said you were expecting some snow, but the intensity was a little more than we thought, huh?
During rush hour, too, which was the worst time. And we still have lake effect snow coming down in northwest Indiana. In the meantime, I do want to start off talking about temperatures because this is something else that has drastically changed since this morning. Right now, we are sitting in the upper teens and 20s out there. It is very cold. It's only 22 degrees at the lakefront, 20 at O'Hare, and 19 in Waukegan, 25 in Gary, and 24 in Chicago Heights. So cold air moving in with gusty winds around 40 to 50 miles per hour, bringing with it that heavy snowfall. And right now, radar is showing some scattered blue on your screen. So it's not out of the question that these clouds hold a few snowflakes within them. But northwest Indiana really is where we have been focusing our attention as this band of lake effect snow has been continuing since this morning, now heading into the afternoon. It's slowly shifting to the east, though, moving into Porter County. But my goodness, it's still going to be a mess out there on the roadways. Wind speeds, talking about the wind, I mentioned 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Right now, 46 miles per hour at Midway, 37 miles per hour from O'Hare to Aurora, 48 miles per hour in Gary. That wind's coming in out of the north, too, which is going to make it feel even colder than it actually is. So let's talk about the visibility, because this is a map that we use a lot of times when we have snowfall, because it indicates how heavy the snow is coming down. And what you can see here is northwest Indiana is really being impacted with the drops in visibility because of the snow falling from that lake effect snow. Also, the wind. It's going to be blowing around that snow that's already fallen. Currently around 1 1/4 miles of visibility from Valpo to 1 3/4 of a mile there in Michigan City, 1 1/2 miles in Gary. Our futurecast will show that lake effect snow continuing, especially from Porter County east into LaPorte and Berrien County, even into tomorrow. But notice the temperatures, they're not budging. We're staying in the 20s through the rest of the day today. Tonight, we're dropping down to the teens, and it's going to be a cold start for your Thursday morning, 6 a.m. Temperatures right around 15 degrees for us at O'Hare, even lower for western counties. And that lake effect snow is still coming down from Valparaiso points east. The rest of us relatively quiet until we get into Thursday night and Friday when more snow is possible. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-20s. This is 9 p.m. on Thursday. And then early Friday, still some lingering snow around. The good news is we don't expect a ton of accumulation, but it definitely will be impactful. Looking at our futurecast snowfall, speaking of impactful, through the rest of the day today, how much snow are we going to see? Well, with those lake effect bands, we could see an additional 1 to 2 inches in Valpo, Michigan City, 2 to 4. And again, total snow from this system could be around 4 to 5 inches from Lake to Porter County, even higher from LaPorte to Berrien County. As we head on into your Thursday night and Friday, this is taking us through Friday afternoon. As mentioned, we don't expect a ton of snow, but a couple of inches not out of the question with this next round moving in tomorrow night into Friday. So talking about that lake effect snow, it's leading to winter weather advisories in place from Lake to Porter County. Lake County expiring at 3 p.m. today, but Porter County, this pushes all the way into tomorrow morning because of the lake effect bands that will be moving through. And then I mentioned the winter storm warnings with higher totals expected from Michigan City into southwestern Michigan. Here's your 7-day forecast. Temperatures, they're going to stay cold. So today, again, the low 40s, not the rest of the day. That was earlier. Now, the rest of the afternoon will be in the 20s. Tomorrow's high around 26. Friday, 37. Again, tomorrow during the day, relatively quiet. We have that potential for snow returning at night into Friday. And then this weekend, big game. It's going to be cold. For the Bears game, temperatures are peaking around 18 degrees. Notice our low Sunday night down to 10. Now, between there, of course, is the game in the evening on Sunday. Temperatures are going to be around the mid-teens, so very chilly. Also, we have the chance for snow around. So both Saturday, even on Sunday, we have the potential for some snowfall. So wintry weather continues in Chicagoland. We start off next week with partly to mostly cloudy skies, temperatures hovering around 20, both on Monday and Tuesday. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin. Chicago's plan to legalize video gambling terminals passed last month as part of the city's budget plan, but it seems it is not a done deal yet.
The Chicago Tribune reports the mayor, Brandon Johnson, and several alders are still negotiating changes. The plan is expected to bring in $6.8 million this year, but Chicago would receive just 5% of that revenue. The rest would go to the state of Illinois. Bally's Corporation, that's building a nearly $2 billion casino in Chicago, has warned against the ordinance, which could undermine its agreement with the city and investment.
A rare autographed basketball card from Michael Jordan's rookie year is going up for auction, and it's expected to fetch a pretty penny. Right now, the current bid on Heritage Auctions is $360,000. The 1986 Fleer card is signed by Jordan. Cranes reports there are only 23 of these cards in existence. It is one of more than 2,000 sports cards up for auction at the end of the month. Well, the Olympics are preparing to return to L.A. for a third time in 2028.
And event officials say registration for the first ticket drop is now open. Ted Linder takes a closer look at how you could score your spot to watch history in the making.
Sports fans, listen up. Registration for a chance to buy tickets for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympic and Paralympic Games starts Wednesday.
This is the moment in time that people have been waiting for to really be part of history.
Ticket sales will be done on a lottery system. To try and secure your spot to watch athletes go for gold,
go to our website, la28.org. There's a page that says ticketing. Go there and fill out the information, and now you are officially in the portal for all of our ticket draws. You'll be able to see day by day, venue by venue, sport by sport, what's happening. And so you can plan out your 2028 experience.
After you sign up, you'll wait for the lottery to begin.
The window for signing up will close on the 18th of March, right? Then the next thing that will happen is you'll get an email from us if you were selected for a time slot to buy tickets in the first drop that will happen in April. You decide what it is you want to see. We have so many different options, from opening ceremonies to closing ceremonies to swimming.
While anyone can register to get tickets, residents in the Los Angeles and Oklahoma City areas will have a chance to get some of the first, with Oklahoma City hosting the canoe slalom and softball events.
You can buy 12 tickets at a time, and our tickets for every venue, for every event, will start at $28.
The LA Olympic opening ceremony takes place Friday, July 14th, 2028. With the games running through July 30th. The 2028 Paralympic Games begin August 15th. Ted Linder, Fox News.
The drama between Netflix, Paramount, and Warner Brothers continues.
So we've got the latest developments in their bidding war for the production house and a check of your stocks just ahead.
Hi, I'm
Welcome back. It's 12:39. Taking a live look at the New York Stock Exchange right now. The Dow Jones trading down 266 points.
And now it's time to look at your business headlines with Max Gordon.
Mixed readings on the economy as some delayed reports are released. Americans were spending more than expected as the holiday shopping season officially kicked off. Retail sales rose 0.6% in November. Excluding autos, the increase was 0.5%.
Consumers they're spending. The delinquencies are not rising on credit cards. Bet on the consumer.
Meanwhile, readings on prices at the wholesale level for November are mixed. The producer price index rose only 0.2%, but rose to 3% for the year ending in November. Netflix preparing to revise its $72 billion deal to acquire Warner Brothers. The company exploring an all-cash bid for its studios and HBO Max business to win over undecided shareholders.
You have to really sort of take a step back and wonder, are emotions taking charge here? Is it possible that Netflix may be trying a little bit too hard?
Paramount, meanwhile, pressing a rival all-cash offer while Warner's board stands by Netflix's offer. And as expected, Saks Global has filed for bankruptcy reorganization. The company includes Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, Bergdorf Goodman, and Saks Off Fifth. The stores are expected to stay open, at least for now. In Los Angeles, Max Gordon, Fox Business.
All right, our noon show will be wrapping up in about 20 minutes, but Chicago Live is just getting started.
And Anita standing by with a look at what's ahead. Anita.
Hey, ladies, need I say anything more than the fact that we're going to be talking to the Puppy Bowl? Yes, we have Allie Rooney from One Tail at a Time who's going to be joining me today to talk more about having the big honor of being the Chicago-based animal rescue that's going to be represented during the big game, and the two adorable pooches who will put their cuteness on display for all to see on national TV in just a few more weeks. That's in our 3 o'clock hour of Chicago Live today. And of course, we're still hoping that our home team actually makes it to that game. And here's the thing. The Bears Stadium debate isn't losing any steam as we continue on with our season here. We're preparing for another big matchup at Soldier Field in the super cold conditions without a dome. The president and CEO of Meet Chicago Northwest, which is the tourism bureau for 8 Chicago Northwest suburbs and Arlington Heights, you get where I'm going here, says the whole stadium conversation has gotten muddied, confusing, riddled with misinformation, especially since Northwest Indiana was thrown into the mix. I'm going to be talking with her in our 2 o'clock hour, and in our first hour together, a really important discussion about how people increasingly find themselves identifying not as Republicans or Democrats, but as independents politically. We'll talk about the new findings in Gallup's latest poll as we get closer to midterm elections. All of that and more when I see everyone online between 1 and 4 p.m. for another day of Chicago Live.
Thank you so much, Anita. Well, some of the best culinary minds are sharpening their knives.
We are sharing a preview of Chicago Restaurant Week coming up next.
You're watching.
Chicago Restaurant Week returns a week from Friday. The 19th annual event is taking place over 17 days.
And Fabiola Sierra with Choose Chicago is here. And we're always excited to hear from you. We've got the inside scoop. And so tell us, how many restaurants are participating this year and where about in the city can we find them?
Yeah, so for Chicago Restaurant Week, we actually have a record-breaking participants for restaurants, 550 restaurants. We're over the moon about it. About 35 neighborhoods represented. We have 69 restaurants in the suburbs, and about 180 are women or minority-owned, and 104 new participating restaurants. So we've got lots there.
I love the whole concept, how it started, because January is usually a really slow time, and you guys started doing this, and it's been huge. And I love the pricing. Let's talk about that, because I was looking at one of the restaurants that's on the higher end, and they are doing a taste testing menu for like $65 versus hundreds of dollars. So let's talk about, that's just one example, but you have all kinds of specials. Each restaurant's kind of doing its own thing, right?
Yeah, so it is our 19th year, and it is a prefix menu, which I feel like a lot of times that is actually super helpful to have kind of like the chefs
sit back and
pick it out for you. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, lunch and brunch start at $30, and then you have a choice between a $45 meal or a $60, not including tax fees and gratuity. But yeah, it's wonderful. We have an amazing lineup of cuisines, and on our website we also have various filters for any diet restrictions. So vegetarian, there's gluten-free. A few new filters that we've added this year is James Beard Award nominees and winners. So that's kind of a cool tie-in. Elevated water experiences. So
elevated water?
Yeah, Aquapana. And
what do you mean?
Yeah, for any restaurants that carry, Aquapana, San Pellegrino, Clary, yeah.
See, Sylvia knows these things, but I'm like...
No, that does sound funny. Elevated water.
Right, yeah. I'm like, huh? Okay. And so
Chicago's best, right?
Right.
That's right.
So if you want to get into one of these restaurants, I have tried it in the past, and I feel like the reservations book up so fast.
Yes, they do. So Chicago Restaurant Week, there should be a page where it should be really easy to kind of filter through what kind of lunch, cuisine, and this year we added something new. I'm really excited about it. It's our map feature. So you can toggle over, and then you just see the whole map of the city, Chicagoland everywhere, and you can filter through where you're going. Exactly.
Ooh, I love that.
And especially with Chicago Theater Week kind of like overlapping during that time, February 5th through the 15th, if you're going to a theater and you need to look for a restaurant, that is the best way to kind of zoom in and see like which ones are participating.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Of course, this all starts with the First Bites Bash. Tell everybody about that.
Right. It's my favorite event of the year. It starts the day before Chicago Restaurant Week, kicks off on January 22nd from 6 to 9 at the beautiful Field Museum. It's about 70 tasting options from our participating restaurants. It's a good time. You got food, you got sweets, drinks, DJ, the vibe of the Field Museum. Award-winning chef Jonathan Sawyer will be our host chef this year, so that's awesome. He's great. And also something really exciting this season is when we went to launch at the beginning of December, we, for the first time, sold out within 24 hours.
I was wondering if tickets were still available.
Well, so we sold out, but yesterday, if you follow ChooseChicago.com or Choose Chicago on Instagram, we released some surprise tickets. I just checked a little bit ago, and we still have a few more
left.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Are you going to be doing both floors like you did last?
We should be. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Because wow, there's so many chefs there. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I try to make it to all 70 every year. And
I know. Go hungry, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Which restaurants would you recommend we try for Chicago Restaurant Week?
I know you have to see the list, and it depends. That's such a hard answer because there's some great casual ones, there's some amazing fine dining, there's some in between. I think it all depends on your palate.
I see.
You know what
it's
I mean?
a very political answer, Sylvia.
Yeah, and I know with 550 and hopefully we continue to grow, we do update our blogs on our website, covering various topics, whether it be award-winning restaurants or international food, new timers. So I can understand it can be a little overwhelming, but we want to make it easy for folks to go through and really choose what.
Absolutely. All right. I found a couple of breakfast places I want to try, so I can't wait.
Ooh.
It's going to be fun. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
The Chicago.
You got your affairs in order?
These contestants, they're dealing with deep-seated fears and phobias.
Get me out, Johnny.
A lot of people are scared of confinement in small spaces.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
The ocean, spiders, snakes. People are scared of height. And I'm here to, one part, make it a little worse for them.
Nothing like 4-day-old fermented egg juice.
But mostly I've been trying to help them grow and get it all on camera.
I hope they're getting paid a lot to do this. Fear Factor is back with a brand new host. A group of strangers will be facing disgusting challenges, heart-racing stunts, and scary situations in hopes of walking away with a grand prize.
And Fear Factor premieres on Fox today. A few months ago, though, and I'm surprised we didn't hear about this from Jake. He kept it under tight wraps. Jake went to the set to talk with host Johnny Knoxville.
We are rolling. Sounds great. Whenever y'all are ready.
Awesome.
Johnny, good to see you again.
I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is Fear Factor.
It's crazy to think that Jackass and Fear Factor both premiered within 9 months of each other.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
What do you remember you and the guys thinking of Fear Factor when it debuted? Do you guys remember ever sort of talking about it because it was kind of in the vein of what each of you were doing?
Oh man, I'm going to be honest. We were on another planet in our heads on various substances, so we didn't know what was going on in the world. But you know, Fear Factor was a huge hit show.
Yep.
So I'm very happy to be at the helm of this new show.
Welcome to your next challenge. It will test your fear of open water, drowning, and freezing temperatures.
Oh my God. They hired you to talk, and we were watching you today, and you're fantastic at it.
Oh, stop.
It's
He
true.
always says
It's
that.
true.
You got this.
Oh my God!
They don't got this.
What are some of the things that you know from experience? That's the last thing I want to hear in this moment.
I don't really I just go away from everybody and go to my own place, and then when they're ready, I'm like, Jeff, when you're ready for me, just call me in. I'll walk in the ring and get smoked by the bull, and I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
They don't have that luxury of like going away on their
yeah.
own because they people surrounding them all the time. So they have to kind of find their way, and each of them has to figure out a way to trick their brain so that they can complete whatever challenge or attempt. I always ask them, if you can't complete it, just attempt. And it's interesting to watch how some of them did shift and be able to do things that they couldn't do in the beginning.
No, please get me out.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, it's okay to step on your.
You know, Fox has never given me this footage.
Maybe that's why we had to wait so long to see it. We got one last check of your weather next.
One final check of a forecast. Look at that shot, Caitlin.
Ooh, very winter-esque. Yes, it's gusty outside. We have winds above 40 miles per hour at times in Chicagoland. Still going to be quite cloudy. And we have the chance for snow. Light, spotty snow showers outside of northwest Indiana. So behind me, you can see the radar loop indicating where we still have that lake effect snow band coming down in portions of Eastern Lake and Porter County, but also a touch of blue from DeKalb County to LaSalle County. It's not out of the question that you see a few snowflakes here or there, but the accumulation that we do expect through the rest of the day today and even into tomorrow really is going to be focused in northwest Indiana, where we have a winter weather advisory in place from Lake to Porter County. That's where we could see 4 to 5 inches total from this system. And then as we round the lake from LaPorte to Berrien County, you have a winter storm warning in effect, and that's where 6 to 12 inches of snowfall is possible into tomorrow. So our 7-day forecast the rest of the day today, be careful, especially if you are going to be traveling in northwest Indiana with that lake effect snow possible. Still going to be gusty. Any snow that's on the ground could be blown around and drop your visibility. Temperatures for the rest of the day are going to be in the 20s. This 42, that was at midnight. So it is going to be cold the rest of the afternoon. Tomorrow